Hello and welcome to week 11 here in Society and Technology, and I'm going to be introducing you to some interesting components about the workplace. And a little bit of this is industrial organizational psych, a little bit ergonomics. We're introducing to physical ergonomics, and then cultural ergonomics. And ergonomics really referring to the structure, physical or social or psychological, that affects productivity within an organization. It's really the entire field of industrial organizational psych has to do with this. So the first one is to kind of take a look at material culture, and that is the design of machines and instruments. Now, when we think about any sort of object in our world that we need to use for work, one of the factors that has to do with the quality of that particular object is how is it built to enhance my ability to interact with this machine and get my job done. So let's say in the history of computers started off very archaic with having to data enter things into a computer. I mean, before that, moving knobs and all that stuff. And then we went into programming languages and whatnot. And it wasn't until we started to explore what we now commonly use all the time, which is the graphic user interfaces, the GUI, as they type, GUI. And that is, our computers present pictures of objects on our screen that are merely representative of the function behind them. So we put a folder on our desktop, let's say, and it's a folder in the real world contains files, and a folder in the computer world contains files, so that analogous to what is in the real world and familiar and what's on the computer makes what's on the computer just as familiar. The trash can or the recycle bin, depending on what platform you're working on, documents, files, programs, all of these things analogous to the real world. I do some video editing, and even within the video editing, professional video editing programs, they have, there's clips, there's slices, there are bins, and these were words that used to refer to the actual slicing of a film, and bins were the canisters that they stored film in, and all of these analogies are still within the actual interface of those computer programs. Now, I'm just talking about computers. It's an easy example because we're all using them, but every object, the way our car is laid out, the way we access our entertainment system, or to change the heat, or to moving, where are the buttons to raise and lower your window if you have electric windows, just anything in terms of its design. Think about physical objects. Think about the tools that you use. How large is the handle on that drill so that you can feel comfortable with that, or even just manual tools like screwdrivers and hammers and whatnot. Thinking about all the design of that, the discussion is to share examples of both good and bad design. Things that are easy to use because they're well designed, well put together, and then you have things that are poorly designed and they're hard to use because they're not well put together. That's the discussion. The assignment goes into an evaluation of organizational culture. Now, this is a whole theory in itself. It's covered in the actual assignment instructions. So I want to go to that and take a look here in the course book. We have the assignment Organizational Ergonomics, and this particular model takes a look at the way organizations are structured and developed, and the culture within that organization, how that impacts the efficiency of that organization. In the end, you will be producing a document that includes an assessment of a workplace or a home or like your home. You can actually, any organization to which you belong, you can assess that organization, develop the graphic that I'm going to ask you to do, include that in your organization, and finish the assignment. So let's go through each piece here together so you'll know exactly what it is that I'm looking for. We look here on the second page that the first step is to select an organization. It could be your work, school, club, team, band, even your family. And then you go to this organizational cultural assessment instrument. If we click on that, brings you to this right here. Read all of these instructions here, and let's go right down here and I'll summarize. If you're going to be doing, let's say I was going to do my family. For each one of these areas, I have 100 points to distribute between each one of these characteristics. So in this first one, I have dominant characteristics. I have A, B, C, and D. In these squares, I have to distribute 100 points. So let's say they're all the same. I put 25, 25, 25, 25. If they're different, I can weigh them different. And that's my assessment of what it is now. And I do the same thing over here, putting 100 points between these four to be what I would like it to be, if it's different. Then we go into organizational leadership, 100 points there, 100 points there. Management of employees, right there and right there. And then 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, 100 points. Okay, then you take all of these scores and you put them into these squares. So the scores for 1A, 2A, 3A, the sum, and then divided by 6. Same at there, same at there, same at there. And these are your preferred scores. Okay? So over here, these are what's going on now, coming from each one, A, B, C, and D. And then A, B, C, and D, preferred scores. And then you take each one of those, these scores right here, the average sum divided by 6, and you put them in here. You have A for clan, adhocracy, market, hierarchy now, and then clan there. And it would look something like this. Okay, now this stuff right here, you don't have to worry about. What I'm then going to have you do with this information, so you have A, B, C, and D, 55, 20, 25, you have A, B, C, and D. This is what it is now, this is what it's preferred. We then go back to this course book, and I show you this particular graphic right here. So that graphic is you'll notice that hierarchy, adhocracy, market, and clan, it has numbers going on 10 to 50. So we have what you want to do for your now. Let's say you might have a score here for hierarchy, a score here for clan, a score here for adhocracy, and then a score here for market. And you would then construct a box that connects those four, as I did in this particular here. So let's say the red one was my is the now. My now goes like that, and then my preferred goes like this. And what you end up with is the middle part here where there's overlap is things are good. And then we have things that are different over here. This is, my preferences for this, and these are what things are. So that would be, it would help organizations to understand where change could happen while at the same time celebrating where things are good. And so This is a tool that industrial organizational psychologists and other professionals use to analyze the cultures of organizations to see the degree to which we have clan, adhocracy, market, and hierarchy, and in order to engage in discussions about, is this what we want? Do we want to go in another direction? You know, those kinds of things. So then it comes that you put that together, and over here, there's some links to the online instructions for that. This is a link to the graphic itself. If I click on that, you can open it, and you can just, it opens it up here. This is the graphic. You download that, pull that right into your desktop, and you put that into your slideshow, or however you're going to edit that. Slideshow is the best way to do that. And then you're going to paste that final graphic into a document. You're going to have a title page. You're going to briefly describe the organization. You're going to insert the graphic itself, and then you're going to write a reflection about the difference between, let's say your graphic looks like this. You have the difference between what things are and the way things should be in that organization, and then of course mechanics. Now, to help you with this, right here is there's a video in the course book, and it goes through how I use the tools within Keynote, the Apple version of PowerPoint, to create that graphic. I put the graphic, the downloadable graphic, and then I create those boxes. The same skill can be done in PowerPoint, the same tools. You're just creating a unique box using that. It's like looks like a fountain pen, and you can create the boxes and then put a fill, the transparency. So a little bit of this is skill building in the art of creating a unique graphic element within PowerPoint or Keynote. You are then exporting that slide. You don't send me the Keynote. You export that slide and then import that image into your Word file. So you have the title page, you have the description of the organization, you have the graphic, and then you have the reflection on it. You don't have to include the tables the result tables that would go along with that graphic, and you should be able to see both of the overlaps of those graphics. They might be very different, what they are and what they could be or should be according to you, what you would like them to be, could be very different, or they could be very alike. And just as it's sort of an exercise about using a scientific approach to evaluate 4 components of how organizations work. And then you get these nifty little shapes that sort of graphically represent the sameness and difference between what things are and what you would prefer them to be. Very valuable tools in the world of industrial and organizational psych, and understanding the social ergonomics of an organization, not just the tools themselves. So a bit of work on this one, a bit of getting your head wrapped around your PowerPoint or Keynote tools. Teaching those kinds of skills is an embedded part of these classes. I think the better we can know these tools, then we'll be ready to market ourselves as expert PowerPoint users. I think that's a great resume builder as well. So enjoy this process, applying it to any organization of which you belong. Make it real, be honest about it, be serious about it. It's a great little exercise. I've done it several times in class, and it is actually pretty fun to see the results sort of laid out graphically like that. So I look forward to seeing those things start coming in. Have a great week, and I will see you next time.